Hi, my name is Abhishek Bij. I'm partner at Design Plus Architects. Design Plus was established in 1981 by my father, Mr. Arun Bij. So it's been more than 40 years. We have a super excited young team of about 18-20 architects and interior designers. So we are very fortunate. We also have a strong BD team and a visualization team in the office. We're also blessed with a few consultants that have been together with the office for over 2 decades. Building engineering is also very well looked after. So we mean MEP consultants, structural consultants, sustainable consultants. So we consider ourselves fortunate enough that we are able to provide this comprehensive service. Design Plus has 3 prominent philosophies. One is called democratic design. One is reliance on technology, and the other is sustainability. But something that we really attempt consciously is this idea of democratic spaces. Democratic spaces purely states that if a building's responsibility is not just to house the program that was its original intent, it is also to provide something for the neighborhood in which the building sits. Up that neighborhood could be immediate neighborhood, it could be the sector, it could be the city, it could be the north, south, east zone of the country or the country in itself, right? So it depends on the perspective and the scale of the project. So broadly it's that if you're doing, let's say, even a mall, okay? Can a mall be designed in where, for example, anywhere, any social strata feels comfortable to go, right? Is it environmentally responsive? Does it restrict people on caste, creed, religions, economics? Can it perform beyond its primary duty of being a mall? So that's essentially the philosophy of democratic design. Today we're going to discuss one of our projects. It's the head office of William Grant & Sons in Gurgaon. William Grant & Sons is a very popular alcohol brand in the world. Glenfiddich and Monkey Shoulder to their credit. So it was quite exciting to work with such a strong global brand. The brief was very fluid, it went back and forth, but I think the exciting bit that the clients did was they held an internal competition. They invited 5 architects, to participate in a paid competition. We were remunerated a bit, and we enjoy design competitions because then it's a pure merit. You're not closing a deal on because you were the lowest or you were the closest to the client and so on and so forth. You're closing it. We had no clue who these guys were. Somehow a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend kind of recommended, and we landed and made their pitch. So the brief from the client was, if I put it very simply, it's so nice to work at a Starbucks. That was it. Like, we would like a fluid space, we don't want workstations and so on and so forth. However, we would like to host our town hall here and would like to have a creative discussions here. And over a period of time, they called their project the ideation space. So that's where they think of ideas, discuss with the marketing team, discuss with the creative team, and develop the next strategies for the business. So it wasn't supposed to be their typical workstation project. The thing with office design, especially interior workplace design, is the fact that everybody wants a Google and a Facebook and a Microsoft from day one, and then they throw in 100 workstations, and then it obviously neither behaves nor looks like one of those offices. And this is pre-COVID project, so it's not like because of COVID they were making these decisions. So our proposal was to divide the project into 2 halves. One was discussion zone, where we created these sunken pods and a little amphitheater. And the other was quintessentially a Starbucks. It had discussion tables, a high table, a low table, conference table, but all in the open. None of it had divisions, except the 2 zones in themselves. Each zone was about, I think, 1,500 square feet each. So the first zone had these 4 sunken pods which could host 14 people each, and the amphitheater which could take another 20-30 people. So we created this area because remember I said that one of the brief was that they would like to host the town hall. That means the entire staff all across the country of, at that time, I think 70 people, was supposed to be accommodated in one room so that they can have their gala conversations and discussions. Choice of material was very interesting. We relied a lot on pinewood, thermopine to be precise. There were wall panels, there was ceiling which is completely in pine. The material palette was very, very subtle, very pastel. So we had hues of blue as the cushioning and the soft cushions. There was a wooden floor that kind of ran across the entire office space. The fun part was the stretch fabric drum lights that we used on each of these pods. So what was happening is that the discussion pods were circular, the table was hence circular, and the light above was also a circular drum, which was like just focusing on those pods. And like I said, none of these pods were divided by screens or divided by walls or something. They were all in the open. On the other side, the ceiling was pine, the tables were pine, the floor was also wood, and the hue of blue was continued in the carpeting that was there. So this was the primary material, and the embellishment on top was beautiful selection of indoor plants. So that added the color to this kind of single hue, not almost monochromatic design language. So by virtue of these sunken pods and this amphitheater and this massive 120-inch screen, they could hold their larger event, they don't have to go outside. And the other aspect was a recall to, it would be nice to work in a Starbucks. We actually created them like a cafe office with a little bain marie, and you bring your own coffee and you sit there. So pretty much which has become a norm now, post-COVID era. And the director at the time was this British gentleman who was stationed in India as the India CEO, or I don't know what the nomenclature was, but he was the top man here. And this was supposed to be super fast paced. We were engaged in Jan, we had to get out in March because the launch date was already fixed. We were also fortunate enough that the construction company that supported us, Renova Infracon, they were very, very quick with the decisions. So the day of the launch, when we move in and this international head and then India head see me, and they said, my dad was like 2 steps behind me, and they see me, they shake hands, they walk up to my father and said, thank you, Mr. Bij, you gave us exactly what we thought we needed, but we could not put it in our imagination. So that was a very nice compliment and a testimonial that we received. The great thing is that in that year we participated in an international competition submission of that project for best offices in the world, and this became the second best office in the world out of 728 entries. And this was a small 3,000 square feet office. Won the first prize, was a monstrosity built by Gensler, like 7 million square feet or something like that. So we were kind of very happy that this little nice project kind of made its way through. The project came out the way it is because of a strong association with the clients. Us and the clients were in sync and married from day one, and they let us be playful. They trusted us with our moves. We were making those moves also for the first time, but that's where great things are created, and that's where the conversation between a patron and the architect does wonders. So yeah, highly indebted to the clients and the construction team in this case to pull this project together along with us.